It's mock draft season and we're spicing things up today. I'm doing this one on the fly, and you can see in the top left corner, I got a timer. I am only allowed 2 minutes per pick. So if I get stumped, I'm going to have to pick something. So it could get wild. It could get crazy, but what's crack-a-lackin'? It's your boy Broshmo, just in case you did not know. So go ahead, become a bro and subscribe. Leave this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed the content as always. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let's have that nice, beautiful football discourse. I did release my defensive interior rankings earlier today, so go ahead, check that out. I'm doing some pre-Senior Bowl rankings. So, just really trying to give y'all as much information as possible. Special thanks to Underdog Fantasy for sponsoring the video. If you love weekly fantasy or player prop bets, then check out Underdog Fantasy. When you use promo code Broshmo, they hook you up from the get-go to start your betting journey. But remember, my friends, bet responsibly. I'm not going to need a lot of time, so I'm not even going to start the timer for this one. We're going ahead with Bryce Young. So for all intents and purposes, this is what I would do. This is going to be a what I would do mock draft. And in all honesty, I'm not going to need a lot of time for the first two picks. Bryce Young, listen, Houston, you're picking your franchise quarterback. Let's move on. Chicago Bears, it really comes between, for me, Jalen Carter or Will Anderson. Take the top non-quarterback prospect. And I'm not going to lie, man. I'm going to lean with Will Anderson. For me, it's easy as that. And then for the Seattle Seahawks, listen, I might consider quarterback here if Jalen Carter or Will Anderson were on the board, but in this case, Jalen Carter is on the board. So let's go ahead and solidify the middle of that defense with Jalen Carter. Now we could probably start the clock and let's get this sucker running. So the Arizona Cardinals. So for me, this pick's a little easy too. The Arizona Cardinals, it's like, oh, okay, coverage, that's kind of a big thing. We would like to get better corners, a little bit more talent there. I don't think you're going to do it here, 4th overall. Offensive tackle, I don't think you're going to do it here, 4th overall. That kind of leaves, for me, pass rush, and Myles Murphy, to me, is going to be a guy that's can warrant to go in the top 5. He's going to test out like a freak. All right, let's go ahead. Let's reset that timer because we're going to need no time for this Indianapolis pick, but we're going to be thinking right here around Detroit. I said reset timer. Oh, I got to stop it too. There we go. All right, so Indianapolis Colts, we're taking CJ Stroud. You naysayers out there, maybe he proved something to you against Georgia. I've been on the whole, I still think he's a top 10 prospect in this class, so we're gonna go ahead and snag him here. We could start the timer here for this Detroit pick because I want to talk this one out. I would like to trade out of this pick, ideally, for maybe a quarterback hungry team that wants to get in front of I don't know, Atlanta, Las Vegas, or a Carolina. Have maybe one of those squads trade up to get Will Levis because the guy's got a ton of tools, but I can't do that. So I still I wouldn't mind taking a swing at the quarterback position, but I'd feel better if it was obviously Young here. Even Stroud, I'd be tempted. But I want to look at different areas. For me, we could talk edge. Like I really do think the idea of Tyree Wilson as a run stuffer, and like James Houston is still that DPR guy you bring on the field and pass in situations. The corner class, I feel like we could wait. I think corners may fall a little bit in this class. So honestly, Brian Brazee, he's going to test out real well. You really have no one outside of Aleem McNeil, in my opinion. So I think Brian Brazee is actually the top pick here for me. We're going to go ahead, reset, and get started on this Atlanta pick. Because like pass rush is one of the first things that come to mind. So I'm thinking Jared Verse. Jared Verse is... I think has a higher ceiling than a Tyree Wilson, at least in terms of a pass rusher. Down and down player, you could argue Wilson. We could talk about maybe taking the first corner off the board, but still, even then, I'd rather take the pass rusher. We could talk about, realistically, we could talk about the quarterback position here. We've seen 2-3 weeks of Desmond Ridder, and I don't feel great about Desmond Ridder, but does that mean I want to take Will Levis, guy with all the tools, and just kind of like just take a toolsy guy that can work in an NFL offense? Like, it's tempting, And I mean, you have the wide receiver weapons there. Like, honestly, the offensive line is pretty solid. And like Atlanta, we could address things maybe in free agency. This is a very pass rusher deep class. Like, well, yes, you won't get talent like the talent of guys like Wilson or Verse. We got to remember that. Where's he at? He's somewhere in here. Lucas Van Ness, the Iowa guy, did declare just the other day. He's somewhere here. I'm going to stop the clock after this and actually look for him just so I know where he's at, because I'm pretty sure he's probably going to go first round. But just knowing, like, okay, maybe I could get like a Foskey, maybe Nolan Smith, BJ Ojolari fall. Like, I'm not going to lie to y'all. I really think I'm going to go ahead and swing on the tools of Will Levis. And I think that's what we're going to do here. Now let's go ahead, stop, reset, and let's find, I'm pretty sure they got Van Ness here. Yeah, he's 122. There we go. Okay, cool. Now let's go ahead, start this clock back up. And we are the Las Vegas Raiders. No quarterback available here for me. I'm not going to consider Anthony Richardson. I think this is where we probably take the first tackle. Because we could talk defense, but I think maybe taking the first tackle might be a better bet to help with that offensive line. This is a team I think that'll probably go the veteran quarterback route. Even if they don't bring back Josh Jacobs, is probably going to be a team that really wants to run the football. And oh man, so basically what we have on our hands is Peter Skoronski or Paris Johnson. Like, I mean, we could talk about the corner position as well, but just with how the tier of offensive linemen kind of fall off compared to the corner class, I think tackle's probably the better get here. So like, we could do Skoronski, we could do Johnson. Skoronski gives you a little flexibility between guard and tackle. I think he could play tackle in the league, but Paris Johnson has the higher ceiling in terms of being a tackle prospect. So we could throw him on the right side there. And I think that's probably what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead, take him here. We're going to go ahead, reset the clock for the Carolina Panthers. No quarterback available. I really, this is outside the Anthony Richardson range, at least for me. So now I kind of want to look elsewhere. I'm not lying. I keep saying I'm not going to lie. I'm not lying. That's just something I say. I'm sorry. It is what it is. Another thing that I commonly say. But I love the idea of pairing DJ Moore up with Quentin Johnston. You move Terrace Marshall into the slot, and you just got a very good receiving core for, I don't know, maybe Sam Darnold. Panthers, you got to trade up. You got to trade up. You really do. That's just going to be the reality of this. You're already working with a really good defense. So whoever's playing quarterback, let's at least give them a hell of a receiving core. We're going to go with Quentin Johnston here. We're going to go ahead and reset that clock. We got the Philadelphia Eagles. And with how deep this edge class is, like, I don't feel like I have to consider edge. Like, we got Tyree Wilson here, which I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of sexy. But I really do think Christian Gonzalez is just a phenomenal fit for what they're doing, at least currently this year with coverage. I think he's probably the favorite right now. Him, Joey Porter probably vie for the top spot. Maybe Keely Ringo could kind of like increase his stock, or at least with what he's done to hurt his stock recently with his latest performances. But like Christian Gonzalez, he's going to test out extremely well. He's built for, if this is a team that truly wants to do more man coverage, like, he's built for this. So let's go ahead, reset, and now we are here with the Tennessee Titans. And first thing that comes to mind for me is Peter Skoronski. Actually, Peter Skoronski is probably the pick here. He could play left guard, he could play left tackle. You know what? Both those positions were terrible for the Titans. I don't think they could get off Ryan Tannehill's deal this season. Derrick Henry is also going to still be with the squad. So, like, your identity for the most part, it's going to be, can you run the football? And you need a very good offensive line, or at least you need an average offensive line to be able to do that. So you need to start getting good. Peter Skoronski, I think, will be the pick here for me. Let's go ahead, reset. And we got the Houston Texans. Let's go back to here. And I suppose now with Quentin Johnston off the board, we could be like, you know what? Okay, pass rush is probably our biggest need. So the decision here is Jared Verse or Tyree Wilson. Do I think Lovie Smith's still the coach after this year? Part of me doesn't think so. So maybe we see a little more flexibility, because I think Lovie Smith would totally love a guy like Tyree Wilson, but I'd rather shoot with the pass rush ceiling of a guy like Jared Verse. And this is what I would do draft. So we're going to go with Jared Verse. Let's reset that timer. The New York Football Jets. All right. So for me, this really comes down to two players: Broderick Jones or Brian Branch. I think these are, for me, the two obvious decisions that need to be made. Depending on how they feel about the offensive line, I kind of like the idea of Broderick Jones and Mekhi Becton battling out for that left tackle spot. Or even if you want to move in a right tackle, I think that's fine as well. Elijah Vera Tucker could play the other tackle spot. Bring back Connor McGovern. Bring back Nate Herbig. Those guys were fine. And hopefully Lincoln Tomlinson plays up to that contract he got just this past off season. I like that idea. I also love the idea of Brian Branch in a solid defense. I really do. And I think Brian Branch will probably be a spot higher for me. I like the idea that he can replace LaMarcus Joyner almost immediately. I love the athlete. I love this guy that's just a great tackler as well. But I don't think my concerns for the defense right now. I think my concerns just getting that offensive line. We saw when they had to face much better offensive lines where they started to struggle. Not even better offensive lines, but like even Seattle did a solid job containing them. So I think I'm going to go with Broderick Jones here. Let's go ahead, reset. And now we're off to the races with the Washington football team. Golly gee. I think like Brian Branch is a thought here, but I think we're going to go corner. I think Joey Porter is the get. I think he's just actually going to be a really good option for Jack Del Rio's defense. We could talk about maybe like, they could take a developmental quarterback for Ron Rivera, but I honestly don't think Ron Rivera is in a place where he can take a developmental guy as of just yet. And you kind of got to hope that guy might be Sam Howell, bring in maybe like a Derek Carr, a Jimmy G, try to fetch someone out there in free agency. So we're going to go ahead and take Joey Porter. Now we got the Pittsburgh Steelers. Let's go ahead and reset this sucker, which of course Joey Porter comes off the board right before Pittsburgh. So again, a lot of the offensive line talent already off the board for Pittsburgh. That's kind of where I like to go. The next spot I think of is the corner position. Cam Sutton is like a must bring back free agent. Excuse me. So the question is Cam Smith, Keely Ringo. Those are the two options I think here. Tyree Wilson could be a thought. I think he's actually a good fit, but DeMarvin Leal's been playing more snaps recently. I'm not thinking linebacker. Yeah, no, I think it's corner. Shoot, maybe we go Brian Branch here. Terrell Edmond, get out of here. Bring in some more veteran corners, I guess. I'm starting to think Brian Branch, a guy that could kick into the slot if you want him to. You don't necessarily have to have him do it, but he can kick into the slot, play in the box, very good. Still allows Mika Fitzpatrick to kind of play all over the place if you want him to. And honestly, like, Brian Branch is a guy that he's got the size if you want to kick him out occasionally to corner, which is reminiscent of a guy you like who is a free agent in Cam Sutton. So I actually think I'm going Brian Branch. Man, I freaking love Brian Branch. All right, so we did it. Let's go ahead and reset the clock here. And now I typically really like to get Michael Mayer here for the Green Bay Packers. Tyree Wilson sitting here, and I think that's a fine option. I really do. Guy that it's going to go higher than I think some people expect, or at least maybe not even at this point. Maybe people have gotten on to the hype train when it comes to him. He's a high floor individual. You get that guy opposite of Rashawn Gary, who's also as versatile, just kind of helped the defense. Defense been playing better football recently as well. Jordan Addison is a thought here for the receiving core, but I mean, in all honesty, I think you can probably take swings of that at that in the second or on day 2 at the receiver position. Is correct. Yeah, I think that's probably what I'm actually gonna go do. I'm gonna do Tyree Wilson. All right, let's reset the timer. We're here with the Detroit Lions, and yay, corner fell to us. The question is it Keely Ringo or is it Cam Smith? Part of me is a little bit scared because they do play quite a bit of man coverage, but we can like Cam Smith's a bit more versatile, but Ringo, man, dude, his measurables are gonna be insane. His straight line speed's gonna be insane. If you could reminisce back to the Senior Bowl, a lot of people thought Tyreek Woolen was gonna be this project guy, developmental corner. That's why I would have taken him day 2. I think he was like 70 something on my board, and he goes in the 5th round, and now everyone's like, oh my gosh, like, can't believe they got this guy in the 5th round. I think I could see a similar trajectory with a more high profile talent in Keely Ringo. So I think we'll go there for the Detroit Lions. All right, so let's go ahead, reset. And now we're sitting here with the Seattle Seahawks. And with this being a free pick, I don't think Geno is the long-term answer, though he's a good answer right now. We've seen a little bit later in the year the kind of the decision-making woes a bit more than we did much earlier in the season, where like he was just phenomenal. So I think it's safe to consider Anthony Richardson here, a guy with just that type of ceiling. And I mean, to have such a good contested catch guy like DK Metcalf, where it's like, even if your ball placement isn't ideal, just throw it up and let him get it. Having a guy like Tyler Lockett underneath is kind of nice. Again, like Anthony Richardson, probably going to be closer to 30 on my big board, but when it comes to quarterbacks, just go ahead, minus 16 picks off of that, and that's probably where you should be willing to take them, just because quarterback value is a thing. Would I be considering any others? Like corner's another thing, but I think Michael Jackson's actually played a little bit better as of late. So maybe not. Linebacker is definitely a thought. It's just not a wonderful class. I say let's just go ahead and get linebacker day 2. I know like Jordan Brooks, he's probably not going to be back for the first part of the season next year because of the late ACL injury. But like we took Jalen Carter. Like I feel good about that. Let's go ahead and just swing the bat for Anthony Richardson. I think so. Like you have 2 first-round picks. I feel the need to get ballsy. We're doing that. All right, now we're on to the Jacksonville Jaguars. I like the idea of corner here. Like Cam Smith's a very good option. Ooh, or do I go Devon Witherspoon? What's the hold on? I want to see because I know Witherspoon is the younger guy. Yeah, he is. Oh man, like we're gonna legit have a conversation where Witherspoon might be in like that next guy up in this tier of like who's the top cornerback off the board. If he blows up at the Senior Bowl, like he's got great length too. I think he'd be really good for the Jags here. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna go ahead and do that. I think I'm gonna go ahead and do that. All right, let's go ahead and reset for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They might be without Brady, which would suck. I think there might be a good chance even if Brady doesn't come back, that means maybe a Jameel Dean or a Sean Murphy-Bunting does return because they'll now have a little bit more cash freed up. If that is the case, see, there's a lot of projecting on my part because I would take Cam Smith if I'm assuming Tom Brady is returning. If he's not, I mean, you got to hope that they get a quarterback. So we're talking like Derek Carr and such. Oh, man. Golly gee. Willikers. We could always go more edge talent. We could get a Lucas Van Ness. That's probably the next edge talent we're considering here. Got to remind myself he's on the defensive line. It wouldn't be a bad idea to grab like Osiris Torrance is the guy I'm probably also considering. But I think let's just go with the corner here. We're gonna go with Cam Smith. Because I can't imagine this team without Brady. All right, let's reset for the New England Patriots. And Jordan Addison's the first thought. I think Michael Mayer might be just the better option though. Because, like, can Mac Jones actually take advantage of a guy like Jordan Addison? You'd be able to take advantage of Michael Mayer. You could get off Hunter Henry's contract. I think they're kind of stuck with Jonnu Smith's contract, but Michael Mayer's kind of, like, he's kind of a Patriot prototype, you know? I don't think I'm ready to look into that second tier of the offensive line. I think this is where I'm just going to take Michael Mayer, man. Dude's just stupid good. All right, let's reset that. Who do we got here? The New York... Jordan Addison. Okay, let's on to the next pick. DJ, I got your receiving help, man. I got your back, DJ. I got your back. And, like, straight up, like, with Daniel Jones, I'm not a truther. I'm not one of those guys. But I do believe he deserves another... Like, he warrants another year to get a full evaluation, get more talent around him. And really see if he is the guy. Baltimore Ravens. Bijan, yes, I'm not going to lie. I'm kind of considering Bijan. He is someone that comes to mind. We could talk about the rest of the receiving talent, but to be frank, I don't see it here. Like Jackson Smith-Njigba being a very good run blocker, it kind of helps, but again, I don't see it. The cornerbacks, the next guy up here for me would be Clark Phillips, but he doesn't have the size. And really, I really do feel like you're reaching on guys like Emmanuel Forbes and Jalen Jones. Not reaching, but like they're a bit ways away. So with that kind of sucks. So we could just go with the edge. And I think this is where we take Lucas Van Ness, some just wild man that'll put his hand down in the dirt and just go nuts. I mean, he's not built like Calais Campbell, but that's fine. You don't need him to be. I think that's where we're going to go. I think that's just the best available right now. So we're going to go ahead and do that. All right, we got reset for the Chargers. All right, obviously receivers there. Like Zay Flowers is kind of a thought as this like field stretcher, but I really don't want to get I really just don't want to touch receiver if I'm the Chargers until day 2 if Addison's not there. Thinking of other areas we could probably improve. Obviously, the middle of that line squishy, so we're gonna consider Siaki Ika. That is probably gonna be my fallback if I can't really decide on an option. There isn't a safety just that I think really right now that can match Nazir Adderley. At least that I'd be willing to draft at this juncture in the draft. Let's see. We could talk about cornerback helps always welcome. Clark Phillips would be good, but do we want to go with another undersized corner? I don't think that's really what I want to do. So I'm not gonna lie. Bijan's actually gonna be a thought here. Like Austin Eckler's been wonderful, but like what? Okay, real quick. What's the age of Austin Eckler? Here, let's just go with contract. Contract gives me the age as well. I have 30 seconds. Oh, Eckler's not that old. Do you want to give him another deal after this season? I mean, you could at least get Eckler and Bijan to play in 2023 and then just let Eckler go, and then you'll have Bijan for the next 3 years. I'm not going to lie, that kind of sounds good because Eckler's going to cost a lot of money. I don't think that's a bad option. I think we're going with Bijan. Bijan. Go ahead, stop the clock. I gotta close the door real quick. Gojo's starting to get lippy. All right, let's go ahead and start the clock. We got the Cincinnati Bengals. Man, I wonder how many people are gonna like that Bijan pick. He's gotta go somewhere. I mean, honestly, like he is a top 20 prospect to me. All right, so with the Cincinnati Bengals, I wouldn't mind if I got myself a offensive tackle, because the woes are legit. Jonah Williams, what's your contract? He is barely average. And of course, we got to worry about the injury to La'el Collins this late in the year too. So let's take a look. Do we want to bring... I guess depending on how much Jonah Williams will cost. Oh my gosh, they already gave him the 5th-year option too. Here, we got time. What's the La'el Collins? What's the injury? He went down with a torn ACL. He's not going to be able to play at the beginning of next year. So I think this is we got to swing on that next tier of talent at the offensive line. You could probably hear Gojo on the outside there. My wife just got home. That's why he's all happy as happy can be. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Anton Harrison. All right, we are here with the Minnesota Vikings, and we got a few things we can consider here. There's Sherman Simpson. But I think there's probably better options than the linebacker, more valuable positions, I should say. We could take a look at the corner class, like Clark Phillips. I know, man, he's a favorite pick of mine in this class, but like for the Vikings, but and Emmanuel Forbes, but like we gotta see, can we maybe do better? And like receiver is one of the first things that pops off in my mind. Like Jackson Smith and Jigbo would be kind of fun. Like the question is, can KJ Osborne survive on the outside? Because I know he's been mainly a slot receiver this season. And I just want to go take a look back to the previous season and see what he's been doing. Because I'm straight up honest. Like I think JSN is probably going to be like a 65% slot guy in the NFL. All right, so let's go to KJ Osborne. We're going to take a quick gander. And oh, no, he's got a fair split. You know what? I'm going to do it. Let's get Jackson Smith and Jigba. We're going to get him for the Minnesota Vikings. Let's go ahead and reset this clock. Now we got the Dallas Cowboys, and this is the problem, man. There's just all, like, when I get to this pick and there's not a lot of great choices. They're just isn't. Like the corners, it's like, maybe, perhaps. I'm pretty confident Eli Ricks is going to return. Fairly confident. Jalen Jones is a guy to definitely consider. But for me, he's a bit further down my board. We could talk about maybe we could talk about linebacker, I guess. Trent Simpson. But we don't have to. A lot of people really like Jalen Hyatt. He's a reach for me at this juncture of the draft. I'd be more willing to take these guys like Downs and Flowers. Let's see. Think Osiris Torrance is a thought. I think Siaki Ika is probably the best get. You get a nice space eater in the middle who can push the passer at 350. They really don't have that there. At least they don't have a guy that's doing that very well currently at the moment. So I think that's what we're going to do for the Cowboys. All right, let's reset this. Who do we got? The Denver Broncos. Oh boy. What do we have for the Denver Broncos? Oh, man. We can consider Trent Simpson here. We can. Osiris Torrance might be like, because you got Dalton Reisner, about to be a free agent. Depending on how they feel about Lloyd Cushion, Barry, I think he's fine enough. So like, you don't have to move on from him and have Quentin Miners take over at center, and then you'll have Osiris Torrance at left guard, and then Glasgow at right guard. It just doesn't feel great. Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton, and I'm not gonna lie, I feel like you get more receivers in tow there. Maybe even a Tyler Lockett-esque receiver. Like I'm trying to like consider Downs or Flowers here. They're a bit undersized, but I might be okay with that. We could also think about the defensive side of the football, but it's like, man, that defense don't really need it. Again, corners, but a lot of them flew off the board, and I think I'd rather take a gander at the receivers while they're like all still here. And golly gee willikers, yeah, the receiving room's not all that great. So I think I'm going to go with Josh Downs actually here for the Denver Broncos. Let's go ahead and reset that. Hey, get Russell Wilson as much help as possible, and if he still sucks, well, you made a bad trade. The Buffalo Bills, this is honestly my dream scenario for them. Get Osiris Torrance. It helps them with the interior immediately. That both guard positions haven't been that good this year. And I'd rather move forward with Ryan Bates than Roger Saffold, who's up there in dog years. So we're going to go ahead and snag that. Let's reset. And now we got the Kansas City Chiefs, and we're staring down some really good talent here for the Chiefs. We're looking at the we could go look at the edge real quick. Lucas Van Ness already went, right? Yeah, he already went a little bit earlier. In terms of penetrators on the defensive interior, I don't think that guy is there that I'm willing to take with this pick. I don't really buy into get them more receiving talent. I think you could probably do that in the later rounds if you want. Maybe bring in some guys. I still think, hey, address the defense. Defense needs help. Defense doesn't get enough pressure as is. So the guys I'm looking at in this juncture, BJ Ojolari, Nolan Smith, Isaiah Foskey. And Foskey is probably the better scheme fit for Spagnuolo. And he's a high floor individual, which really helps. Or you could risk the biscuit and go with like the uber athlete that is Nolan Smith. We've got 49 seconds. Who are other top prospects? Trent Simpson. I'm not too worried about Trent Simpson. I like the linebackers they actually got there at KC. There isn't a corner that really fits what they're doing right now. Oh, we could talk about offensive tackle. Definitely can. Darnell Wright. I mean, that's basically Orlando Brown, right? I think that actually might be it. I think that's probably what we're going to do. Darnell Wright or DeJuan Jones. I think those are the two guys I'm thinking of right now. Yeah. We're going to go with Darnell Wright. I think that's the right call. And we got the Philadelphia Eagles here. We went with Christian Gonzalez. And now I kind of want to stare down some of this edge talent. I really do. Because the defensive line, like, I feel like a lot of these guys, like Kalijah Cansey, Toi Peloto, a lot of these guys are just day two. So realistically, we're looking at the edge talent. We really are. And like Foskey kind of fits. Like if you're concerned with Nolan Smith and Ojulari is they are stand-up guys, and you want a guy with could put his hand in the dirt, Foskey is that guy. Okay, other positions. I mean, we can start looking at right tackle if you're worried about Lane Johnson, but I don't think we have to. Yeah, I think Foskey's kind of the pick here. It's just more safe, high floor guy. And we get to actually select once again for the Houston Texans, because we're doing this on NFL Mock Draft Database Simulator. You always ask me, what simulator are you using? And it's like, why does it got to have such a long name? All right, so I guess what do we do here? Because it would be nice to get like a speedster with size, like just Hyatt, but I still feel like it's real early. Kayshon Boutte, ooh, is an interesting thought. Again, a little bit early for the defensive interior. We could shore up the center or guard position. I mean, this is a team that really wants to run the football, so that's actually not a bad thought whatsoever. They could get better at linebacker as well with a guy with like Trent Simpson. And I mean, just for value, I think that's good. And I'm not gonna lie, I am thinking about John Michael Schmitz. It just feels like such a Texans thing to do too. Yeah, I'd rather wait a little bit longer on receivers. I think we'll just go ahead, take best player on the board. That's probably going to be, Trenton Simpson. We already addressed the edge rusher, so let's go ahead and do that. Let's save. We go ahead, stop the clock, reset it, and let's see how well we did, or at least how you think we did. All right, let me scroll down. And yeah, man, this was a ton of fun. This really was. Let me know what you think, how I did in the comment section below. Again, doing this all kind of on the fly, on the cusp. That's why this video is a little bit longer. I'm trying to talk through what I'm like thinking about as I do each pick. And for the most part, I think it turned out pretty solid. Yeah. At least it was short. I could have made it where I had 15 minutes on the clock. Is what it is. But that's it for the video. Go ahead, do the YouTube thing as always. Until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.